His Majesty the King returns home after a working visit to Italy and the United States. The Prime Minister conveys a verbal message from His Majesty to the Egyptian President and says Jordan rejects any attempt to forcibly displace Palestinians from Gaza. And the meetings of the 32nd session of the Joint Jordanian-Egyptian Higher Committee conclude in Cairo. I'm Mahdi Daoud. Good evening. His Majesty King Abdullah returned home after a working visit to Italy and the United States. His Majesty concluded his visit in Washington, D.C., where he met with U.S. President Joe Biden, Speaker of the House of Representatives Mike Johnson, and a number of officials. In Italy, the King met with Pope Francis at the Vatican, Italian President Sergio Mattarella, and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. The visit covered Jordan's efforts to reach a permanent and sustainable ceasefire in Gaza, prevent the Israeli ground offensive on Rafah, and increase humanitarian aid to the Strip without any obstruction or delay. The visit also focused on Jordan's religious and historical role in safeguarding Muslim and Christian holy sites in Jerusalem under the Hashemite custodianship. Prime Minister Bashar al-Khassawni conveyed a verbal message from His Majesty King Abdullah to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during their meeting in Cairo today. The message underscored the deep bilateral historical ties and emphasized the commitment to bolstering them across all domains. It drew attention to the unified stance of both countries towards an immediate and enduring cessation of Israeli aggression in the Gaza Strip, alongside the imperative of providing comprehensive and sustainable humanitarian aid to the Palestinians in Gaza. Furthermore, the message highlighted the joint Jordanian-Egyptian rejection of any endeavors aimed at the displacement or coercion of the Palestinians from the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. In a press conference with his Egyptian counterpart, Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister said His Majesty King Abdullah is working to open all crossings to facilitate the deliveries of aid to Palestinians in Gaza. Khassawni said Jordan rejects any attempt to forcibly displace Palestinians from the Gaza Strip and supports the ongoing Egyptian efforts to reach a truce in the Strip. Also in Cairo, the Prime Minister and his Egyptian counterpart, Mustafa Madbouli, co-chaired today the meetings of 32nd session of the Joint Jordanian-Egyptian Higher Committee. During the meetings, which were attended by a number of ministers and officials from both sides, Khassawni stressed the deep-rooted and distinguished Jordanian-Egyptian ties at all levels, thanks to the support of His Majesty King Abdullah and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The Prime Minister oversaw the signing of new cooperation agreements that covered a wide range of fields. Moody's credit rating agency has announced the upgrade of Jordan's long-term sovereign credit rating in local and foreign currencies from B1 to BA3, marking the first such increase in 21 years. The agency attributed the rating increase to Jordan's effective public finance and macroeconomic management, along with measures to mitigate risks which have bolstered the country's resilience against external shocks, aligning with a higher credit rating. Commenting on this milestone, Finance Minister Mohammed Isais said this accomplishment reflects the deep structural reforms undertaken by the Jordanian government to safeguard the middle class from global and regional shocks by expanding domestic revenue fairly and gradually without burdening citizens with additional taxes. The Jordanian Armed Forces Arab Army, in cooperation with other countries, carried out 7 airdrops of aid into the north of Gaza. The army has conducted 93 airdrops since the start of the Israeli war on the besieged Gaza Strip, in addition to 242 airdrops that were conducted by the army in collaboration with other countries. Thank you for watching. Good night.